our beautiful fall home, all decorated for this gorgeous season. Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest was looking for a hobby to help ease her empty nest syndrome when she accidentally fell into dog fostering. Whew, did she ever? Here with her new book, Another Good Dog, author Cara Achterberg and our pet rescue expert, Larissa Wohl.
Welcome, lady.
Now, I made that point back there because you talk about dog fostering. You have fostered over 130 dogs.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's nuts.
That's how do you handle all that?
Oh, the best I can. Not always that well, but you know, they're dogs and they do what dogs do, so you just take care of it.
Yeah,
You know,
I guess so.
to be honest, we thought it would be nearly impossible to find anyone who fostered more dogs than Larissa. But we did.
It's pretty remarkable, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, you know, Cara's amazing. She has, I will say, a little bit bigger of a property than mine, and you have had so many dogs come out of your house and make it to, you know, amazing forever homes.
Yeah.
And what I love about you is your book, Another Good Dog, is a very aptly named title because it's proving the point that all dogs are good dogs.
Beautiful.
And even the ones that unfortunately don't make it out of the shelter systems, it's because we don't have enough room for them. It's not because they've done anything wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
So I applaud you for all the hard work.
It's a good point to make and a fantastic book. Now, Cara, in the book, you describe yourself as a dog foster, but really that title for you kind of came accidentally. Tell us how it all came about.
130 times.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, whoops.
Well, I really never planned to foster. I was looking for a dog. I had had a dog for 17 years, and she was my heart. And when she died, I went out looking for another dog, and nothing seemed to fit.
Oh.
So I just stumbled upon a Facebook post, and then decided to foster. And it just, once I did that, and once I started learning about the whole what was going on, I really couldn't stop. This country's euthanizing so many good dogs, just way too many. And I thought we'd fix that problem, but we have not. We are far from.
Yeah, but you're helping fix it, and as is Larissa and so many other people out there that are watching today. So thank you so much for that. Really, thank you for everything you're doing. So your first foster was a dog named Galena, and things did not exactly go as planned with Galena.
So Galena was our very first foster and our very first experience. And when we went to pick her up, we were given directions to go to this bowling alley in outside of Baltimore off the Beltway, and it was very dark. And I had no idea. And my husband was like trusting me on the whole thing, as if, you know, I knew what I was doing, and I didn't. I had no idea. And we pulled in this parking lot, and we had to wait for an unmarked van to
Which
show
already
up.
sounds very strange and a little frightening.
To unload this little dog, and she was tiny, and in my mind a beagle was big, but she was actually tiny. And we took her home, and on the way home we got a flat tire, and it was like 5 degrees on the side of the highway changing a tire. And so it didn't start that great. And then she was afraid of us. She was very, very, you know, shut down and scared. But she really came around maybe a little too much, because she started to kind of eat our house.
Yeah, destroyed the whole house.
Wow.
Look at this.
Yeah, she just ate everything.
That tiny little
I didn't
thing
know
can
that.
I can only imagine
lot
what
of
your
damage.
husband said.
Oh my! Look at that hole in that ottoman. That is extensive.
Do that.
But you know what's amazing was it was Galena transforming from a scared dog that was eating everything to a beautiful dog who eventually did find her forever home. And that's what fueled you. Most people would say never again. You actually looked at that and said, wow, if it hadn't been for us, she wouldn't be in the arms of her new owners. And that's what kept you going, which is amazing.
Yeah, knowing that she could have, that Galena very likely would have been euthanized, and then to see her come out of her shell, and you know, she did continue. I think that's a beagle thing. I think the eating the house would have happened no matter what, but she really came out of her shell and got a great home, and seeing that family so happy, and then knowing there were so many more.
How long did you foster her before she found a home?
We had her longer than most, maybe 6 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
That's not small.
All right.
They usually move fast.
Well, we talk a lot on the show about being a foster failure in the best possible way. You, like Larissa has been, are also a foster failure, and again, in a good inclination of the word for sure, but it's all started with Frankie.
Yeah, well, it didn't, you know, Frankie was, I have to point this out because, you know, everyone thinks that when you foster, you're going to foster fail.
Oh, my goodness.
But Frankie was my 95th foster dog. So I held out a very, very long time.
You did hold out a long time.
That's a lot of willpower.
94 dogs before you were in foster failure.
And then I fostered his litter. And he was just a really, that's the beginning of canine good citizenship.
Tell us about Frankie. Why was he so special to keep?
Well, he was a blue-eyed puppy. And there had been a foster in the past whose name was Frank that I almost failed on way back when he was maybe 5 or 6. And so that kind of, when I first met him, I started to think that maybe this was the dog. But then what really turned me was we had a group of Girl Scouts that came. I foster a lot of puppies. And they came to kind of socialize the puppies and play with the puppies. And when they got there, I had the puppies outside in a pen. And they pulled up, and the girls came running out, and the puppies all went running to the side of the pen. And then one of the girls is in a motorized scooter. She has to use that. And so as she was driving up behind them in her little scooter, the puppies were terrified. And they ran to the other side of the pen, except for Frankie. He stayed there right at the side, and she rode her little scooter up right to the fence, and I put him in her lap. And my husband happened to be watching at that point, and I looked at him, and I was like, that's the dog. We're keeping that one.
And he also sort of looks like Frank Sinatra with those blue eyes.
Yes, that's where he got the blue eyes. Yes, that's it.
I was wondering if anyone was going to make that connection.
Blue eyes. So Larissa can obviously attest to the joys of fostering and just how much happiness it brings you. I mean, honestly, Larissa, I love to see you. Every time there's a new foster in your house, they're always here, and those dogs get so much love. So, Cara, what would you say are the biggest lessons this adventure has really brought you? Because it's an adventure, I imagine.
It is an adventure. I've learned that there are a lot of good dogs out there, and that we have to keep doing what we can. I've also learned to not be as judgmental, I want to say, of people, because I've met so many people through this. I mean, we placed 130 dogs. That's 130 families that have come to my house and met their dog, and I've met them, and they've become friends, and it's created a whole community of people that, you know, I call them dog-hearted people, because we're there because we're trying to save a dog. And we push everything else aside and we focus on saving that dog. And so that's a big lesson. And then I can make a difference. I saved 130 dogs, which seems like nothing when I know how many are out there. So
doesn't seem like nothing to us, that's for sure.
I know.
And it's so important to know that those dogs in those cages is not a true representation of who they are.
Yeah.
And that's why fostering is so great. You know, you and I were talking on the phone. It gives them the opportunity to decompress and become themselves. And so you can make a better matchup for them when it comes to finding a forever home.
That's huge.
Versus them going to a home and then they're not working out, and then they're back in the shelter, and then they go to another home. That fostering middle ground gives them a chance to truly be themselves and be a dog again and find their lifetime of love.
Well,
so
both of you. Thank you, and thank you, Larissa,
so
also doing great work. Thank you for doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Another Good Dog is in bookstores right now. For more information and for more heartwarming stories about Cara's foster dogs, please visit our website, everybody. You will not be disappointed.
You are awesome, Cara. And I mean that in every sense of the word. You're amazing. Thank you. And thank you, Larissa, for bringing us this story. Maria's up next.
Yes, I am making the sweetest Halloween treat bags when we come back.